You may answer the question, Mr. McBride.
I believe that it is a federal issue and that we need national link analysis, and HSI has been the most helpful so far, and we would expect that they would be able to lead this charge. The FBI is certainly involved as a partner, along with other federal agencies.
Thank you, sir.
Chair now recognizes the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Lee, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this important hearing, and thank you to all of our witnesses for being here with us today. You have highlighted something that is so important for us in Congress to recognize, and that is that the threat of organized retail crime has grown exponentially, and today we are seeing such sophisticated schemes involving fraud, impersonation, and also cyber-related tactics, and that necessitates, in many ways, a federal coordinated response. In my home state of Florida, we have seen an increase in cargo theft, and it's impacting freight hubs all over our state. The increasing sophistication of these criminal networks highlights that need for greater federal law enforcement support. And so, Mr. Spear, I would like to go back to you and your testimony. One of the things that you noted is that there is, in some state and local law enforcement areas, a lack of resources and jurisdiction, and you noted that this was clearly a federal responsibility. I would like to hear a bit more from you about that lack of resources and jurisdiction, how it is affecting crime prevention in this way, and also the advanced cyber tactics that are being used to disrupt in our cargo transport and also the safe containment of these retail products.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Yes, I'd be happy to. Trucking obviously operates in all 50 states, every congressional district. So we see the panoramic view of the nation. Moving freight state to state is a daily experience for us. But we worked with state law enforcement, we work with local law enforcement. The problem with this is that you're obviously moving from one point to another. This freight can get taken at any point in time, in any state. It's that sporadic. And so obviously we'll work with local law enforcement if they're the first on the scene, state law enforcement. But that freight can obviously be in another state before we can even figure out that it was taken. So the speed of our response, the ability to share information quickly, federal databases could be a harbinger for that, could really understand the broader ramifications, not just about where the freight could be headed in different states, but also other links and organizations that might be responsible for it. Local and state law enforcement aren't going to have that ability to see state to state, see federal. That panoramic view is the missing piece of the puzzle. Okay, we're working just fine local and state. It's getting the national fabric, that interstate fabric, into the puzzle to make it complete and actually be able to go after these criminal organizations effectively with the speed that we need to tackle the problem. The transnational criminal organizations, that is an international element. That's the strategic theft I was speaking to. These groups are operating out of Eastern Europe, Russia, South Africa, China. These are places where if you have a laptop, you have access to a process, a system. You can go into a bill of lading and redirect freight as it's in motion. We've had members that the driver thinks it's legitimate. It's the company's system that's telling them to redirect, drop the freight to a dummy site. That freight's long gone before they even figure out that it was taken. That's going to require multiple states being part of a federal fabric to be able to understand where that threat's coming from and how to prevent it. State, local governments do not have that capability to attack transnational organizations. That is a federal responsibility. It's the missing piece of the puzzle. If you put it in under CORCA, then you really have a full solution to tackling this problem quickly.
And Mr. Bennett, I'd like to go back to you on this subject. I know that you also work a lot in digital and cyber defense in your position. So would you please comment on that organized retail crime is no longer limited to in-store theft. You touched on a couple of these other digital consequences, things that are happening. What are you working on? What are you seeing from a cyber defenses perspective and how technology is being used to help promote and perpetrate these schemes?
Representative Lee, thank you very much for the question. From my perspective, the work that we do on our team, this is a really important element from a technology perspective. Advanced analytics, identifying patterns of behavior, all of these things are critically important. I'm sure everyone on the panel has received a text message that says you need to pay a fee or a fine, an easy pass. At first glance, that doesn't seem like organized retail crime. You might not connect it to organized retail crime, but that's a fraudster phishing information from you that ultimately is going to turn into some sort of laundering activity, in large part in the retail environment. So those are examples of how consumers see ORC and they don't realize it, and it might look like an individual issue, but it is connected to a much larger scheme and scam. I know I mentioned our gift card early on, and we could talk about that.
Yeah,
later.
thank you. Timing's expired. Thank you.
Thank you,
Chair
Mr.
recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Nels.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here. I